Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you might be in this world. This is Hejin Lee with an evening update on Bitcoin price action. So, the way I see it, here is the first chart. Here, the MACD is the first thing that I can notice. So these are at about equal. While the price has made higher high, the MACD is about equal. The leading indicator of the MACD, the white line, has definitely now started to curl downwards. So far, prices have bounced off the upper resistance line of the broadening pattern when it's coming down. I don't think it's going to go like kaput like that. I think there's more to it because this is already looking symmetrical triangulish. So here is the I believe this was the midday update that I had sent out today earlier. And we're looking like an A, B, C, D, E type of triangle, and it should, if this is correct, then we should look for a set of impulse waves or motive to bring prices to the 6200 region, which represents the 1.618 Fibonacci landing point. The only thing that bothers me about this is that the price is still so far away from the apex. The apex is the point at which the two lines of the triangle intersect. Usually when it's so far away, there's not enough pent-up energy to burst out of it. So this may be currently in conformity to the ABCDE triangle. But you have to understand in Elliott waves for corrective sequences, there are 36 possible combinations from simple to very complex types. From ABC, you have the three types of flats, and then the triangles, and you have your WXY combinations, and then triples, and combine all that together in possibilities. That is why corrections are so very difficult to navigate versus an impulse. An impulse is a lot more easily definable in form and fit and look, versus a correction can start taking ABCDE and then change it on the dime and become an ABC again. That is why corrections are so difficult to map out. Doesn't mean you can't attempt it. So here's a more of a higher resolution at 1 hour. The one before was 1 hour also, but on a less zoomed in format. So here, the other possibility, and more on the probable side now probably, is that this is ABC A, ABC B, and we're now going to put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down for C. And then from here we'll impulse up to put in the final 6200. The other possibility is that this is becoming a horizontal channel, possibly. Whereas if I remove these lines and then the corrections, I can draw the horizontal lines. like so. But I don't think that's on the probable side because I've rarely seen cryptos do a horizontal ABCDE or the ABCDE types. I don't think I've seen one like that, so I wouldn't put that in there. So what I put, keep those back like this. So it could be either this, and then my top two candidates would be this, or it would be this. If this starts breaking down below here, if prices go down below this support, then you can say this is A, B, and impulsing 1, 2, 3, 4 down to C. So then the big question is, if that's what happens, then it would be this pathway. How low could it go? It could be really at any point below A, but so far I'm saying 1, 2, 1, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 will probably be somewhere around 5,200 or so, maybe 5,250. If this is the pathway. And I wouldn't be surprised if somehow this can turn out to be, I'm trying to make it, there you go, possibly some type of a ending diagonal type of triangle of this type. Why? Because Bitcoin loves triangle patterns, as you can probably tell by now, and it loves flag patterns, as you can tell here. Was a bearish flag, here was another bearish flag. And this may morph into a downward pointing bullish symmetrical triangle as well. So 1 in 36 chance is the chance we have right to getting this corrective pattern right. What I am confident is that this is just a correction. And if it isn't, well, no. Because this will start cranking down past, if we go below the prior high here, then there's a bit of a concern. And that's at 49.76 right now, using Bitfinex pricing. If this starts cranking down and starts free diving, then we'll know, and goes past the prior peak, lower than the prior peak, then we've got issues. But I think what we have here is A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is yet to come. Did I label that here? I labeled it here. So that counting will look like A, B, C, one, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not going to leave it there because it's going to make it look very, very messy. It's too many subwaves. But I think what I just labeled, you should get the understanding and the idea. Now, this is very foreboding in my opinion. An upward pointing triangle where you have, let's say the triangle was just here, it starts here. Let's forget about the one before. Let's get rid of this circle for now. Okay. So it cruised up and ka-chunk, it hit here. It's going to hit here. So what I'm thinking is, like I said, Bitcoin loves triangles. It, I think, is a truer reflection of sentiment as measured in pattern. And I think the possibility here could be A, B, maybe down to C, D, E as a possibility. But let's see. Let's see how that goes. And if that pattern does actually come to completion. But look, as I said before, here the red circles represented past ideal cell action times, and I don't see too much of a difference here already from there. I see a lot more similarity. Okay, so we'll see how this triangle ABCDE plays out. Maybe we'll see the secondary pattern with C, ABC, and the C will be a diagonal ending triangle. Now, one thing I wanted to show with you tonight is this. I'm not a big fan of zero hedge. I think it's got a certain level of glee that it takes from seeing a market crash, not because it is a market crash, but because zero hedge knows that with every market crash like 2008 and 9, the government, central banks, everyone zero hedge hates suffer. And I just don't think they are really writing for the benefit of people. They're really writing for their own personal agendas. When you read their articles, it's so apparent that is the case, and I don't like that. I don't become a fan of that. There is no happiness to be found in having personal vendettas. But I will give them credit for coming up with certain articles. They are often the first to write about an event or an article. And here's one case where a bill is being introduced by the U.S. government, which is aimed at quote-unquote deficit finance, illicit finance trends, and to combat terrorism. And one is to monitor the trends using cryptocurrencies and other methods that are internet-based. And I guess the question I have is, my God, I mean, isn't the dollar bill the biggest currency that the criminals use? I think Andrea Antonopoulos said criminals eat breakfast too. They wear clothes. Maybe they should go after clothes as well. They drive cars. And yet it is the banks who are supporting this too. And yet these banks like Wachovia are committing, as Andreas once said, 20 to 30,000 instances of money laundering criminal acts. And yet they blow out of proportion the role of cryptocurrencies. But they are trying to get in here, and the government isn't stupid. They know, then they see this as a threat. And there's something in the back of my mind that just kind of says something is brewing in the government side. Maybe it's on the SEC side. Maybe it's going to be a regulation. Maybe it's going to be something somewhere. I don't know. Maybe Kim Jong-un will have the most bitcoins. And as a result, the whole cryptocurrencies have to be clamped down and shut down with a big one switch. Shut it off, or try to. But I do know this. Government has direct influence on the centralized exchanges. And you know which ones those are. And you know exactly what just happened not too long ago, just a few days ago, with BitShares. They were, for some unknown reason, just out of the blue, delisted by Bittrex. And I think one reason is the government pushing and prodding central exchanges to do something like that, maybe because they have no control over the decentralized exchanges. And so when I saw that happening, and then obviously we saw at that time the price of BitShares just crumbling. Well, here we are now, okay, after the dust has settled. And here I see 1, 2, 3. Yeah, sorry. Where did the 2 go? 2 disappeared on me. Anyways, there's supposed to be 2 here. I don't know where it went. Get rid of that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After 5 waves, what do you get? ABC. So let's expand this a little bit. And I put out an earlier blog post on BitShares on how delicious it seems. And my friend Seanster, who also is a reader of my blogs, confirmed this too, and I'm grateful for him for letting me know about it as well, and alerting me to it too. But here we have 5 waves up. After 5 waves, you have to get a 3-wave correction. So we have A, B, and then C will be 5 waves down. C for a zigzag or flat will always be a 5-wave. So we have A, B, and then I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Interesting. There are 5 waves here. So if this is a true 5-wave down, could the correction be done? Oh, I know what happened. I was on a logarithmic chart mode. Jeez. And suddenly, 2 shows up. It really doesn't matter. So we have A, B, C. Now look. We have an extended 5th. When the 5th is extended, you get a massively deep retrace. Now it's come down to the level of 4, wave 4. But often the retrace can go deeper than that. Maybe down past it. Okay? Because of the extended 5th. But regardless, for now, I see 5 waves in. It could be like maybe wave 5 will be here. And if you further drill down into that, so here, well, if that's the case, most optimistically we can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? We can call this C. But we can also say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 could be here. Where we have then we can subdivide this to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And C could be here. Get rid of this. Oops, no, sorry. Boy, did I screw that up. Sorry, it's getting late. My bedtime is usually 11-ish. Okay. And this would be moved down here. This would be 3. This would be 4. So that's possible too. There could be one more down. But for now, I'm gonna say 5 is in. Therefore C is here. I subdivided the final 5 wave into 5 waves. And take it from here. So what do we need? We need an impulsive set of waves. You can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this here is a 1, 2 by itself of 3. So you're looking at a 1, 2, 1, 2 as a nested event. Like that. 2 being very extended. Three, 4, and 5. Put the 3 up. Like so. So we need to see it taking some upper higher highs will be needed for this. And I think what will truly bring bid shares, and the reason why we went into the bid shares, is once if the government do pass laws anti-decentralized exchange actions. I believe what we will see could be sudden popularity and attraction for these decentralized, because what they will do is go after the lowest hanging fruits and control, that being the centralized exchanges. And that could cause people to flock and flee into decentralized exchanges. And this triangle was very interesting. So we need higher highs as soon as possible to confirm this. And this deep A, when extended fifth is occurring, A will almost always be longer than the C. In equities, usually the C is longest, like this. But more often than not, in cryptos, you will see this, a personality trait feature of cryptos. Okay? Although with an extended fifth, even in equities, the retrace is very deep. Usually to this wave 2 of the fifth wave or beyond the fourth. Okay? And that's pretty much where we are now. So I would keep a close eye on BitShares as we come closer and closer to this scenario. It may be that in the initial phase of this, I'm just thinking, could the trigger be the government attempting to seize control in the name of regulation for the safety of the people? I don't know. If that's the case, BitShares will become very popular very quick, because they will easily go after the centralized exchanges. And if that's the case, then we have these 5 waves will become subwaves to high degree wave 1. This ABC becomes subdegree to high level wave 2. And then we're looking something like that. Okay. Something like that. And this may be one of those that could be inversely related to Bitcoin as Bitcoin takes its big correction. So this is my little monkey brain trying to figure out what news or event could be interrelated. And I couldn't stop but reading this and trying to connect the dots. Okay? I hope this has been helpful and informative. I hope I have earned the right to ask you for your upvotes, and I'm very grateful for all of you to be upvoting. It gives me visibility. There is a list put out by Hang Gang for the daily 30 popular posts with Steam tag, and I've been making this list, especially with the Bitcoin tag. I think I'm 17. I've got a few of places, and this is happening with upvotes and comments. And me making this list is very gratifying, because then I'm getting the visibility so others can see and know, hopefully find out that they can come to me, to my blogs, and receive on-demand analysis of any crypto that they would like to have analyzed. All right, thank you. Have a good night. Talk to you in the morning.